Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Lamont, and I am your host of Ladies, Get Your Prance On. And I am here with my special guest, Jen Duchene, who's in the house today. And a lot of you know that she does Akashic records. And I know I've gone to her more than once to help me with some of my stuff from my past. But today, a lot of people may not know this, she is an astronumerologist. And so she's going to be sharing with us a little bit about the numbers going into the first of the year and helping to explain for those of you who may not have ever had your numbers done, what that entails. So Jen, welcome.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. And for those of you that are watching maybe for the first time, you'll notice that we're wearing our beautiful crowns. And so Jen has this group called the Royal Joy Challenge. So could you explain what these crowns represent?
Yes, they represent being queen of your life, because I believe every woman should own the fact that she's queen of her life. And when she understands that she can use joy to own that, to make decisions that bring her joy, then she can be queen of her life every day.
every single day. And how did you get into numerology? So how did that fall into your lap?
Well, I went through a year of transition. I was in a very bad place in 2009, 2010, and kind of fell into this stuff that just showed up, and just started doing these things that I was like, wow, there's a whole different world that I kind of had a little inkling of for a long time, but had forgotten about. And then I went to an event, and a woman was talking about numerology, and I was like, wow, I forgot. I used to love numbers, and yay, I love divination, and this is something I can understand because it's very practical. Like, a number means something, and really, and it's functional, right? So people can understand, and it's perfect for who I am. So I was like, ooh, numbers. And a couple of years later, I started studying it, and here I am.
So you were drawn towards it.
Yes.
When I had you do my numerology, it was over 2 years ago, and at the time I was going by the name Lisa Lamont Consulting. Very safe, very generic, out there. And so I asked you, when we did the session, I said, because I learned that you could say whether names and numbers were lucky or fortunate for them. And so when you did the numerology on Lisa Lamont Consulting, you came back and you said to drop the consulting, and that I should just be Lisa Lamont, like that.
Yes,
that's what's lucky and fortunate for me. And it was, I kid you not, whether it was a law of attraction, I don't know what it was, but the moment and it was hard to take that title, that was my safe consulting. But once I removed that consulting, it was like, boom. I mean, all of a sudden I was getting business. People were asking, like, what is it you do, instead of hiding behind consulting? Why do you think a lot of women, because most of our audience is women, and we do support men also. Why do you think women hide behind titles and their names, and they're afraid to be seen? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think women have a history of being told to hide behind something, right? Keep quiet, I'll take care of you, you don't worry your pretty head about it. We have all of those kind of names or words or associations that come into our world that also have vibrations, by the way. All words have vibration, as well as a history. I mean, we go back, a history, women in the old days, ancient days, women were very powerful. And so men kind of found a way to strip us of our power, putting us in a corner and making us rely on them for our safety. And so we've had many experiences of being hunted and punished for speaking out, for wanting to stand out. So we've been trained to hide behind things.
I've also noticed too that you and I were in a holistic field,
Yes.
and that holistic field is being more accepted because our tools that we use, you know, I'm a psychic and a hypnotherapist, and those have been around for years, and you're an astronumerologist and an Akashic records reader. I mean, those trades, those skills that we have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so the fact that it's now coming to the forefront and being accepted again, is that in alignment with what's going on in our world today?
Yes, absolutely. You know, the universe speaks to us in numbers. We are able to connect with our true selves through divination arts, the things you and I do, these holistic practices. It's also because in 2017, we are even more than we have been going into this time of being extremely creative and passionate and individual, right? You know, we talked about being queen. Well, that's what a queen is, right? The queen recognizes that she's individual, that has responsibilities, and must follow her intuition, her truth, because that's our greatest power. You know, as long as we lean on other people, we will never be free. We'll never be able to speak our truth because we'll always be keeping silent because we're relying on them to help us. And what's happening now is we're being pushed to go into the wilderness, as it were, right? Yes. And really get connected with who we are and be willing to stand for what we believe in. And all these holistic practices are what gives us strength, brings us back to ourselves. So we're going, instead of looking outside of ourselves, we begin to look within ourselves.
Yes, I love that. Also, the year of 2016, because I'm a follower and I'm part of your group, the Royal Joy Challenge, and you're always so generous with videos that you give about what's going on with the numbers, and we'll be talking about that. But the other message that's been coming through loud and clear for me and for other people is for women to tell our truth. You know, that has been the banging of the drum. Tell your truth. Tell your truth. And I apologize. I must have tagged you like 300 times this past year. Jen Duchene, you know, because
I love it. Don't apologize. I love it.
We were, you know, one of the things in my Akashic records reading that I did with you, and I know that other people that have worked with you on that, I mean, it's the same thing. Tell your truth. Tell your truth. It's really been the force. Why do you think that has been like one of the most powerful messages of 2016?
Well, because again, it comes back to that same idea. When you tell your truth, when you just say what you believe and think in the moment, it helps you to evolve, right? But it also moves you out of the shadows. Like when you're saying things that you think people want to hear, you don't really know who you are. You don't know what they're thinking. You're just kind of, you know, acting out of fear because, oh, if I say something wrong, something's going to happen, or I'm not sure how they're going to react. And when you share your truth, and if you can come to a place where you're sharing your truth without being confrontational, right? It frees you because then you're standing in your truth, and then you feel the sense of power and connectedness and groundedness to the earth. This is who I am. This is what's true for me. You know, if you have a different truth, fine. But it also helps us to find our tribe. It helps us to trust ourselves. Yes. It gives us the strength to really stand up for what we believe in. You know, in this year, we've had so many challenges for a reason, right? We're moving away from old things. And in order to bring new things in, which is what the new year is about, 2017 is about creating a new legacy going forward. Yes. We have to know who we are. We have to be willing to be courageous, right? That's what speaking your truth is being courageous, willing for people to point out and say, oh, you need to get out of my group because you don't belong to me. You know, you don't believe what I believe. And that's healthy. It's healthy to know, oh, this isn't my group. And it's okay. There's another group that I can belong to. I must, you know, this is the hero's journey. I must follow my own truth, my own passion. Yes. When you don't speak your truth, you don't even know what you believe in.
You don't. for me this year, having witnessed, and we don't have to go into the details of the politics, and then we have the oil pipeline that, and so good, we can't see the good that's coming out of this right now. And you said the message, instead of sharing hate, share love. Don't empower somebody that you don't agree with hate. Just, don't give them any more of your power. But the same thing with the pipeline trying to go through the sacred Indian reservation. What I saw this year was so many tribes that have been separate for all these years. All these tribes now, as a result, it started off slow. It was just, that particular tribe. And then a nearby tribe saw that they needed help. So they came, another tribe came. And so we always look for something bad, but to understand that something bigger is out there that we just don't get right now. Like, what is the purpose of that, and why is there injustice? The political arena this year, we're two very, very extreme controversial people that got people talking. It got people talking, and we saw people's true colors, as may be, of what racism that they were really holding on to, or hate that they were holding on to. I mean, we were awakened when we tell our truth. Do you agree with that?
Totally. We are given freedom. Like, when we can speak our truth, we can then begin to separate the wheat from the chaff, right? What's important to us, where we need to put our focus. This is really important as we go into 2017, is that we're able to focus on what is true for us and where our energy needs to lie. Just like the tribal impact of the pipeline, right? As what that has created is, it's bringing the truth out about what really matters. The earth, protecting the earth, protecting our resources, protecting things that matter to us. Now, for most of us, we've kind of lost all of that stuff. We've become very connected to our material things. Many of us think that, if I have a purse that has a certain name, then, that gives me status, that gives me, people will look at me and admire me. Yeah. We've admired people, like people that have been stars or whatever we call them. We've followed their words. And so all of those are, they are fake things that will not give us what we need. They will not give us the strength to stand like those people who are protesting, to stand in the truth, like the only truth that matters. And when we all come together on those truths, that's what bands us together. That's what gives us the strength to go forward, to focus on what really is important, right? And all the other stuff kind of falls away,
Yes. It does. What are some of the other things that you can share with the viewers about going into the new year? What are some of their intentions that you suggest for them to be aware of as we go into this new year?
Well, the theme of the year, it is about creating a legacy going forward for the next era, millennium. This is really, we're focusing, we're building. It's a 1 year. It's about focus. It's about setting your intention, about a vision. This is really about the quest for joy that is really important. It's the querent. You're the one who needs to ask the question and peel away the layers and get really creative and passionate and move away from things like ambition that are very empty, to embracing the soul journey, the journey of your spirit, what is true to you, how you find the connection with the land, how you find the connection with the people around you, the connection with what is true for you. So very important that, it's going to be a tough year, right? There's going to be this pressure, this bringing together, or again, of facing our enemies or facing people that have different ideas and being able to stand tall in what we believe, right? So knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your truth is, because you can set an intention next year and it's very impactful. If it is not from your heart, it will just disintegrate and you're going to be sucked into a place that you're going to be even more unhappy, right? It's like you have to make those choices to go with what is true and in alignment with your soul, or, dance with the devil. That's really...
I think a lot of us are dancing with the devil. You know, I have seen a very big change since I've met you. You know, almost 3 years now. I'm going on our third year, and I find it very interesting because, like you said, you were very passive and you conformed and you were always being likable and you kept your mouth shut because you didn't want to sway anybody. And now you're out there saying, if you don't like it, you can just fuck off. You know, it's not the right
Exactly.
for me. And
Exactly.
how did that feel, though, when you first did speak up for yourself? So what was that transition? Because a lot of people watching this, they're feeling that pull too, like, I want to be able to tell my truth. Can you share with the people watching, was that difficult for you at first? And how did you deal with that when difficulty did show up?
Yes, it was very difficult. And I think part of it was, you know, one of the things you talk about, which is self-love, right? Learning to love myself enough that it would be okay if I was rejected, right? So it was a very painful transition. However, you know, I know that's what I'm here for, right? To speak my truth and to help others speak their truth. So I am somebody that, fortunately, when I'm faced with something like this, it's like a challenge to me, and I want to find the way through it. Doing the work that I do, you know, I've definitely invested in a lot of readings, healings, you know, work that I have readings and healings as well. The Akashic has been hugely beneficial to me and helping me break through the barriers,
Yes.
See the light, as it were, free myself. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, you just cannot wake up in the morning without doing any of the work. And I mean the spiritual work, the cleansing inside of yourself, the facing of your own issues.
Yes.
And just wake up and go, oh, I'm just fine. I'm just going to talk about this stuff. I mean, you can talk about it because you want to have an impact and you want to get attention. But if it's not your true path, if it doesn't feel like it's calling you, there's no passion behind it. And those are the kinds of things that can blow up in your face, right, next year. Yeah. So that was me. You've known me for 3 years, and I can tell you I was very different 3 years prior to that, right? So just that steady, focus of, this is what I need to do, one thing at a time, and taking big leaps by doing this kind of work, like having readings, having healings, not just sitting there saying, oh, there's nothing I can do, right? Because there's always something you can do. It's a matter of finding what it is, you know, because you're not going to reach nirvana in one day, and you're not going to reach it in a lifetime, right?
I can get my Academy Award just by showing up. You know, it takes a lot of hard work. You have people that may not know this about you, but you have traveled all over the world. You've lived many places. Can you share with people where you were raised and what you learned by traveling in other countries that we here in America don't realize of our blessings or what we're missing out on?
Yeah, I loved it. I actually grew up in South Africa, which was an amazing place to grow up in. I saw a lot of different things growing up there. One of the things I found since I've been in America is that Americans tend to be very insular in how they live. Like, they live in little pockets and they don't really see what's happening around them with other people. It's hard to relate. You know, it's very much that kind of, oh, this is my little pocket and this is the world. When I grew up in South Africa, you just could not, well, I certainly couldn't hide from it because it was in your face, right? You had to deal with it. You have this tribal system that's still very much part of the country. Even when it was under dominant white rule, I saw what it was like to see people being dominated because one race thought they were superior. And it was, you know, the masculine, you know, this kind of white dominance that believed they were superior to everything, to women, to people of other color, to children. I saw that firsthand. I think that really was very revealing. Traveling to other countries, seeing other places, I found that, people in the end all want the same things. They just don't know how to express it. Like a lot of times we think that somebody else is taking what is mine, right? That there's not enough. When the truth is, the universe tells us, there's enough for everyone, right? It's our perception that screws us up, right?
Yep.
The idea that somebody knows something that's not true, like whatever they're doing, there's something weird about it. Turns out to be those are their customs, their beliefs that have kept them going, right? And so it's one of those things with, the recognition, the travel broadens the mind, allowing people to have their own truth, their own way of being is part of travel, like recognizing like there's something we can learn, right? There's something we can understand, that because people do it in a different way, it doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, we could learn something from it. I think there's one of the understandings is, as much as we try to be individuals, and that's a good thing to be an individual, is to recognize that we have to be an individual in a greater group, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And for people that are watching, I mean, Jen and I are both in the holistic field. We have very unique holistic tools, and we are not in competition with one another. We have no problem to refer somebody. We have no problem to support one another. There is no competition. I keep trying to tell people there is plenty for everybody. And you explain that we in America, we get in pockets, right? So women, they'll get into this little group, and I won't name the groups, but they go to this one group and they meet up once a month. And then they're and if you get like two people in the same thing, it's like competition. No, it's not. It's not competition. You're there to support and network and maybe do business and referral, but everyone's got a different personality style. I use the example of graphic artists. You might have one graphic artist that's very creative and uses creativity great, and you might have another graphic artist who's very clean and corporate, very, by the lines, and have that really straight business look. Okay, we're talking, if they were friends, they could refer work to each other. When I have clients that come to me and it comes up that they've got past stuff that I know is from a past life, whether people believe in it or not, I've had it done, so I know it's to be true. I send them to you. It's like, Jen, help them clean out their, because we do have a lot of, we come into this lifetime and we meet with people, and you just like instantly you like them, like, oh my God, I just love this person. Or you instantly, sometimes you don't like them. Well, it's probably from a past life, and you got to maybe you're there to fix it, or maybe you're there to like not let it get you. I don't know what the reason is of that. So anyway, I'm going to bring us back to the show, which is numerology. I love to talk. We always get off on that, but that's the cool thing about having my own show, is that we can go down any path that we want.
I love it. Yes,
so,
that's
numerology, Jen.
Yes.
When you did mine, if you want to use me as an example for my number, like when you did my numerology, you said that I had a life path number of a 5. So what does that number, where everyone has like their number, and what does that number mean, and do each number represent something different?
Yeah, so we all have a bunch of different numbers, and one of the key ones is the life purpose or life path. And the root numbers go from 1 to 9, so you fall into one of those. And of course, each number has its own, it's an archetype. So it has its challenges and its, rewards, the wonderful things about it. Like every number is very powerful. Every number has its challenges, and it is really what you've chosen. You've come into the world, you choose these numbers because you're setting a blueprint for yourself, for your life. This is what I want to do. This is what I intend. Life purpose is like, what is the kind of journey of my life? Where am I going? What do I want to kind of learn or evolve to during this time? And that's kind of the vehicle. Your life purpose is like the vehicle you're traveling in during your life. So Lisa's is the 5, and what's really interesting about the 5 is that I can really tell, right, how much of a 5 she is. She's a specific 5, and hers is about being out in the public and really helping people to to gather together and to see things about themselves or see commonalities. So that's really what Lisa's part of your number is. The other part about the 5 that's really interesting, it's about freedom. And you can tell that Lisa does enjoy freedom, adventure, taking risks, right? The 5s have great courage. The word 5 actually resonates to freedom and to life. And the 5 wants us to be in the now, right? It wants us to recognize that the only time that matters is the present, right? Because the past has been, the future's still coming. Yep. You know, we can't live in the past because that's how it's going to be. We can't live in the future because we don't know what it is. Yeah. But if we are present in this moment, if we're just in the breath of life, like whatever's happening to you right now, if you just be in this moment instead of thinking about, oh, I said the wrong thing to somebody, or this is the way that my mother did it, or would it be safe? All of those things that we say to stop us from really being present, you know, then we're not in our lives. We're observing our lives. And so the 5 really is about being in our lives. It is also about media and speaking out and doing all these things. So it definitely is part of who you are, right?
And mirror love.
Yes, mirror love.
And mirror love is all about staying present, about being present in your body today. What am I going to do with my life today? And mirror love keeps you present. So I love that you do that. Could you also share with them what your number is and what that means, so you can give another example?
Okay. And of course, I just want to add that, of course, there's more to say about a 5, right? Any number. So one of my key numbers, well, let's say my life purpose number is a 6, because, I mean, it is. I'm just going to compare apples to apples, right? My life purpose number is a 6. So 6 is about, it really is about parenting, being a parent, teacher, you know, helping people or children to, or whatever you're birthing, to evolve in a way, to grow up freely, like so in the way it's meant to, instead of trying to control it. Like most of us as parents, we want our children to be a certain way. Like we try to stop them because it's not safe. It's not safe. Whereas what we need to do is just allow them, to give them a container that's safe enough for them to move around in until they're old enough that they can do whatever they need to do in order to grow, right? Just stopping somebody from doing something dangerous, they're never going to grow, right? They're going to actually be, their growth will be stunted. And that's true of your business, of any project, right? Or anything you're doing. If you're growing a plant, you know, if you give it too small a pot, or you don't give it enough sunlight because you're afraid it's going to get burnt, it's not going to grow. So the 6 is also about, you know, one of the shadows of the 6 is not to be a martyr, right? So self-care. 6 is the number of service, of being of service, not in service, right? So taking good care of yourself so that you can be a better teacher, a better parent, a better giver to the world, right? When we take care of our own needs, we don't have that burning need, like, what about me? What about me? Some of what you were talking about, Lisa, in terms of there's not enough for me. All of that comes down to this. What about me? Well, when you take care of your needs, you listen, you say, well, what do I need? Love. 6 as well is about, 6 is the number of love. Giving yourself self-love, doing your mirror work, like Lisa says, which is so powerful. You are gifting yourself what you need so you don't feel hungry, right? Because when you're hungry,
that is
give.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. I tell people, they come to me for readings and they want to know, I want to know about my love life. Like, when am I going to find love? And I'm like, and it all goes back, it starts with self, you know. Let's go. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Oh my God, I hate to look in the mirror. I see someone fat. I see someone old and wrinkles and gray hair. And, we criticize. And it's like, well, what are you going to attract in your life with those thoughts? Like, what are you manifesting in your life? And it all starts with self. And you're also a teacher. I love that you brought up that you're a teacher, because you also teach courses of being an Akashic. So you teach the Akashic to
Yes, I do.
people.
I teach
Can you
people
talk about that a little bit?
Akashic? About the Akashic or
Yes.
classes?
Yeah, Akashic. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So the Akashic, and I just want to put in there about being a teacher. I teach people, and you have teaching in you too, but anyway, I teach people also to understand who they are, right? There's different levels of teaching. So when we go into the idea of what a teacher is, there's so many ways we can be a teacher. Wow. But in the Akashic, the Akashic, that's a Sanskrit word for of the ethers. And so the Akashic is what's known as the information arm of God. So that's where all of your soul's records are. And each of us have our own soul records. Wow. And each of us have our own keepers. And as an Akashic records reader, healer, I communicate with the keepers. Like if I'm reading Lisa's, I communicate with her. Lisa, I communicate with your keepers, right? And they are there. Everything is held in a unconditional love, right? So when you go into the Akashic world, you just like, when I open someone's records, they're just like, this is so amazing. They just feel, because you start to heal just by being in the records, because there's so much love. Like we heal when we're in love, right? Yes. When we're in love with ourselves, like we are speaking about love. When we are receiving love unconditionally, that's how we heal, right? By recognizing I'm enough. And the beauty of being able to go into the Akashic and ask any question, it's a question-based, just like Lisa with what you do, divination arts, a lot of it is based on questions. So whether you're learning how to do it for yourself, you're having somebody help you, or whatever, you want to heal something, it has a lot to do with the power of your questions. Since the Akashic,
I want to too. One of my readings that I had done with Jen was that I was being asked to speak in the public, and I was like totally terrified. I mean, I don't know where the fear was, because I'm an extrovert. I'm a 5. I'm out there. I support everybody else, but I have this fear of me being solo in front of a room of people. And when I had my Akashic records opened up and I asked the question, why am I fearful of that? You were able to share with me where in a past life that came from, what happened to me. And once I saw that that's not where, today I'm not in that situation. I'm not in that situation to have that. It's nothing scary. I want people to know it enlightens you and it frees you, and everything is out of love. And once I learned that, I was just like happy. I'm like, okay, get me on stage now. Okay.
Exactly.
It was like understanding that this fear was from something in my past life. And that may sound goofy and crazy, but until you experience it, it's incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So thank you, Jen. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And that's absolutely true. It's not scary at all. It's very loving. They meet you where you are. And the best part is being able to not only get the answer of why can't I find love? Why do I keep having the same guy in my life? Or why do I, why can't I get on stage or whatever? Why can't I go further in my business? A lot of these are related to past life issues. And so when you can clear that, you know what it is, and you go, wow, that makes sense. And then you have it cleared, and then you can go forward. Like, that's even better, right?
I'm telling you, it is just so wonderful. Is there anything else? Because I always get off topic. That's kind of what I do. But that's how people get to know you and get to know me.
Yes.
Is there anything about the numerology also in the new year that you want to share? Because this last year was telling our truth. So is there like a little theme, do you feel, that's coming up for 2017?
Yes, the theme is that, there's many things about it, but the key thing for 2017 is to understand who you are, right? This is a 10 universal year. It's incredibly powerful. It gives you the power of manifesting what you believe in, right? And so in order to manifest that, to create a world you want to live in, you have to be really real. about it and recognize that all things are possible, and you have to stand behind what it is that you desire. You have to believe in it enough that you are willing to do what it takes, right? This is really important, because I think in so many ways we've all become very comfortable with the idea of letting somebody else do it, right? Oh, it's okay. I don't really agree with it, but I'm not going to do it. And now we're going to have to do that. And I think the example of the American Indians that have gone to fight for this, the no DAP, the Dakota line access pipeline, is there a great lesson for us, because they have gone there. Many of them have been there for many months. It's very, very cold there. It takes a lot of courage to stand in love for what you believe in. And there are going to be people who are going to try to shut you up and push you down and say, and you're going to be facing the barrel of a gun in a way, right? I'm not saying everyone's going to come and shoot you, but basically you have to be able to stand up for what you believe in, and believe it with such passion and such conviction that you are willing to take the risk, because this is a year of risk, right? This is also a year of immense joy. So, once you recognize you don't need all that other stuff that you've been holding on to, that just knowing and being connected to the spirit of who you are is so powerful. It's so exciting that the joy that you will receive is immense, right? But
this has also been the year of downsizing. When you talk about the joy of the material stuff, I mean, you went through this just recently in your life. All these, we call them treasures, right? They're still treasures, but it's just like we have them away in boxes. Like I've got like 5 bins in storage that have been there for 2 years, and it's just like, why do I have them? What are in the, so then I'll open it up and like, oh, that's a memory, but it's a beautiful thing. But it's like, why am I not giving this to somebody to share that memory, or extra blankets? Why can't I donate that to the homeless so they can stay warm at night? It's just like, why do you think that we're hoarding all this stuff?
Well, it's a sense of safety, right? Our stuff creates a barrier, and it keeps us safe. Like it stops us from feeling things, right? This is the whole point about coming to a place of truth, a place of joy. We have to feel the shitty things as well as the good things. We have to face up the fact that, wow, I don't like the way, my relative treats me, and I've never said anything. I've just kind of smiled. Me as a woman, I realize like so many times I have smiled when men have said derogatory things about women, right? Because I don't want to say anything, and learning to stand up and go, wait, that's not true, right? Mm-hmm. Or I'm not going to stand here and listen to it. Whatever I decide to do about it, it's very freeing. Like as long as you've got all those blankets and boxes and all that stuff, you can, it kind of numbs you out, right? It's just like drinking or smoking or eating ice cream, whatever it is. It's a form of numbing yourself out, so you don't have to then go out in the cold and go, wow, this is all I have, right? All these people I don't like being around, right?
That's so interesting. It just, I had my Oprah light bulb moment here just now. This past year of telling your truth. I mean, this just hit me. I'm just sharing. This is just like wild. This year, I've put on 25 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing mirror love every single day. And it's just like, and I've put weight, I've up and down on weight, but I've kept it off very, very well for many years. I even wrote a book, Boot Camp for the Soul. But my thing of telling my truth was, I was telling people that I'm a business and spiritual intuitive advisor. And I felt like I wasn't telling my truth wholly. I was like safe. Everyone was in, we all have intuition. Everyone is intuitive. And then I would be selling the fact, well, I have more intuition than others. And it was just last week when I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I got online, I changed my title to business and spiritual psychic advisor. Ooh. I'm a psychic. I got my cards. I ordered my cards. And I changed it, and I came out. Look at, there's psychic.
Oh, awesome. I love it.
But what happened, Jen, was I wasn't telling my truth. wholly, completely, because I was afraid that once I did psychic, that I would be compared to Psychic to the Stars, the phone where people call up and it's $5.99 a minute, and they would be charged thousands, and they would say bullshit. I've worked hard. I was born. I do see spirits. I do see ghosts. I see angels. I see auras. And how can people find me if I'm not clear about who I am and what I do? And there might be a percentage of people that think, oh, she's not a good person. That's okay. They're not my tribe, right? Like you said, they're not my group. They're not my tribe. And I just want to thank you, Jen. That's why I'm like, woo, woo.
Yes, that's right. And this is really what's happening. I mean, I've seen it myself. As I've become more outspoken, like I've stopped kind of trying to be fair and balanced, because nobody knows what that means. And I've done that all my life, and now I realize, like, that's bullshit, right? I just have to say what I believe. If people don't like it, too bad. And, if I've had people leaving my newsletter and whatever, leaving or unfriending me because they don't like my truth, it makes them uncomfortable. And you know what? I am not going to dim my light or stop speaking my truth because it makes someone else uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm meant to do. I have to do it, just like you. You have to be a psychic. People have to know who you are so they can know they're coming to the right person, right? And that's important. To the people that fall away, that's a good thing, right?
It is. And you don't have to be afraid anymore. And the other thing too, even though you've come out, we both come out this year, I want people to know that you are so kind and loving, that even though you're speaking up for things that don't serve you and are not the right alignment, but you are also very protective. You do have that motherly, that teacher, that leader in you, that I know I'm safe when I come and I work with you. So I want people to also know that you are also warm and fuzzy and fun and funny. And we don't have to always be serious to tell our truth. We can play, we can have fun, we can have a glass of Cosmopolitan with sugar on the rim. It's okay. It's okay to have fun, but it's also important that we tell our truth and be who we are and see ourselves as that. Could you share before we wrap this up about your group, your Royal Joy Challenge group? Because I love that group.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yes. So I have this group on Facebook, which you're certainly welcome to join. And what it is it's about recognizing how you use joy to be a queen. It's supportive, loving. We all have issues, and we need a place that we can go and share about it. And even if we don't get the answer, right? Just having a place to share how we feel, to get some guidance. I post about what's happening in the world, what the universe is telling us. Sometimes when we know what's coming up, it makes it easier. We can't always go see Lisa, but we can, you can come over and check out the numbers, and that'll give you some guidance about what's happening. And so you don't feel alone and crazy, right? It's like, it can feel very lonely when you're out there beginning this journey of speaking your truth and kind of peeling away from safe things. So this is a place where you get to experience joy, and we have fun.
You do, and you share videos all the time. I mean, you're always giving updates. And for those of you, this is like one of my favorite books. You've heard the term man cave, right? Like men have to have their man cave where they hang out. Well, this book is kind of about creating a sacred space for women, and I call it my woman cave. My woman cave, and this book is so valuable. And your background too. There's another background too about fashion and design. Can you share a little bit about that and what inspired this book?
Well, I used to be an interior designer, went to school for it, did it for quite a number of years, and loved doing redesign, which is about using what people already have. So really helping women to find their own sacred space, external sacred space, and that's what the book is about. And when I wrote the book, I thought it was going to be a book about design. And it does have some design in it. It does tell you how to create your own space using what you already have. But a lot of the book is steps about coming into the truth of your own sacred space, what's true for you, right? You know, I use a lot of the quotes from Virginia Woolf in there. And one of the quotes that always influenced me, even as a young girl, I loved her, and was every woman should have a room of her own and money with which to write. She says write, but I think we all need a room of our own and money to do whatever is creative within us, right? Our truth, our creative energy is our truth. It's our passion and what brings us alive. It brings us to joy, and that's really what the book is about. You know, it's
well, and it is, and this, you know, and people that might be thinking, going through their head, well, I live in an apartment, I live in a tiny studio, I don't have room. You still talk about just, you know, an altar, setting up just a place that you know that you can sit and, you know, get down on your knees, whatever that is. You know, it's important to have that space to reconnect with yourself. And so I love this book. And I will add the link when I shared with the show, so it'll be below the link. I'll have all that information. Jen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Lisa. You are wonderful.
Well, cheers to an awesome 2017 and continuing to tell our truth, right? We're going to continue to tell our truth, wear our crowns proudly. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you.